Good evening, Joe. I'm apparently
Hey Sean, how's it going?
good. Apparently, I'm frozen, but now I seem to be back. There we go. It's going good. Apologies for the slight late delay, folks. That's me. Just first day of school today, so I was a little bit sluggish getting home. But we are here. And if you saw from the intro, contrary to popular belief, we are not putting on Mini Extravaganza, but we will be talking a lot about it. So if you were confused, Legion Academy is not hosting it, but we certainly are talking about it, Joe. But before that, let's catch up on the week that was. How was your last few days?
Pretty good. Just staying busy, man. I got a wedding coming up this weekend. One of my buddies is getting married. I'm going out to Michigan City for that. Just busy with work, but looking forward to the holiday weekend.
Oh,
We're getting
a little Labor
we're
Day.
getting a long weekend, so should be good. How about you?
I am also
First
looking
day of school?
First day of school. Yeah, first day of school. So I have no actual and I seem to have a sort of a nice freezy camera tonight. I have no actual. I'm just going to fix that real quick. No actual teaching this year. So Joe, you're going to just be on camera for a sec. I'm going to talk, but I will be. I will be doing just administrative work this year. So that is what I'm doing. So it'll be unique to be just in the office. I'm not really used to just being in the office, but that is how that's how the year's looking. So, but of course, yes, today first day of school, and busy. All the kids returning, and the apprehension around first day jitters and excitement and all that good stuff. And I have those too, right? So the first day of school is as much for kids as it is for teachers and administrators. So I did enjoy the day, had a good day with the kids, and happy to be back in school. So, but now my time is split between work and doing all of the things. So of course, infinitely busier. So, but still time for Legion. I'm actually going to play this Friday. We'll talk about that. Going to be playing against Anthony. I haven't told Anthony that he's playing against me or that he's even playing Friday, but safe assumption that he'll be good for a game on Friday. So have you got any Legion in since we have last spoke?
No. I do. We do have Invader League this week. I have a game scheduled for tomorrow night, my first Invader League game, but yeah, not to get too skies falling, but the Chicago community absolutely imploded, so there is no Legion. Yeah.
Sounds like we have much to talk about. So
yeah,
and I continue to have.
Sean's gone.
I'm here. I just seem to have some sort of error that is just really not loving anything here tonight. So I'm going to troubleshoot and talk at the same time. So yeah, we'll definitely get into that. As I said, I do not know what is happening right now. I seem to just be having lots of technical errors here, but I will try to troubleshoot on the fly, and maybe that'll work. We'll try that one. I seem to have some USB connective issues. So we're going to get into all those things. Invader, we're going to have activation token discussion, just to bring you guys an update on that. We've been getting lots of questions, so I want to make sure you fill that in. Justice, we will fill you in on what Invader League groups we're in. We have a whole screen to talk about Invader League at the end. We're going to talk about the new releases. Some information came out today, so we definitely want to talk and share about that. I was just grabbing some new screens as soon as I get home. Seems like AMG is always putting out lots of news. It just doesn't come out in a nice sort of conducive package or similar times. It's like random. Even Joe said, hey, did you get the new stuff? I went to get the new stuff, and then I was like, hey, did you see this? And Joe hadn't seen that. So it seems that it comes out in sort of a sporadic shotgun approach. So maybe that works for some. It's just a little bit tough on the content creators to sort of time those news releases. But hey, there's a little bit of news for everyone, I guess. So there's a plus. And then we're going to get into the AMG RRG. And then talk a little bit.
If you want to call it that.
Yeah, I used all the acronyms, and then I put a little FNF there too, because I mean, why not use all the 3-letter abbreviations that are out there? So, Tom, what are you saying here? You're teasing me, Sean. You should make a sign saying, "I assure you, we are open." I mean, I don't even know what the challenge was. I didn't want to pick up my microphone
Dude.
tonight or my camera, and I used my computer at 11 last night, shut it off, and just walked up to it today. So it just said I'm a computer and I'm going to be misbehaving tonight. Go ahead.
Tom, I'm pretty excited about Clerks 3 coming out. They're filming it right now. That's the reference. It's a great. I love Kevin Smith.
Gotcha. Yeah. Awesome. Hey, that's weird.
Yeah.
We've had 2 Kevin Smith conversations, or mentions this week. Joe and I even in conversation. So, all right, let's slide over and hopefully it looks like my computer is behaving for a few more minutes. So turn 0, Joe. We're talking a little bit. Let me pop this up here. Mini Extravaganza, September 9th to 11th, 2021. We're going to get into the schedule and sort of what's going on to the website a little later, but that will be sort of the frame of reference for tonight and just talking about that. I know some people are super excited, and I think some people are maybe like waiting with bated breath in terms of like what's coming out. The schedule, I will say, looks like they're going to do a lot in 3 days. That I can I can assure you. However, I've already heard grumblings that it's not enough of this, not enough of that, and void of this, and maybe too much of some things.
Scum faction?
I mean, it sounds I mean, it seems like they're suggesting that. There's all kinds of suggestive stuff in there, and I think that's all about building the hype. And there's no real part of me that's saying like I'm not looking forward to it, because I am. I think it will be good. We're getting chat comments in here, and feel free to sound off, and we'll get to the call outs later. So just hold on that. But Brandon saying no Star Wars Armada, sad face for sure. Lots of grumblings about that. Grumble, too much painting. I just want new models. Yep, that's a thing that I've heard. If I don't see Ahsoka or an an AT-AT, I'll be upset. Tom, fair. I don't know who you're going to see. I think Ahsoka is like if Ahsoka's not in the breach somewhere to drop soon, I think there's going to be lots of angry people. And AT-AT I still think is a stretch, but I'm there with you. I won't be disappointed if I don't see it, because I haven't really been disappointed. I haven't seen it for the last 3 years, but keeping the hype low. I was whelmed by their first Mini Extravaganza. Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed by it either. Joe, thoughts on that?
This is what's going to happen. We're going to watch it for 12 hours, and we're going to get like 2 models to talk about, and the rest is just going to be painting. I'm calling it now.
Okay.
I'm not feeling. I mean, hey, they're probably going to show us some new stuff, but I have a feeling a lot of it's just going to be a whole bunch of painting and talking about stuff that.
Yep.
Listen, the painting stuff is cool, but like, I don't know how much people actually care about it. I got to be perfectly honest. Like, just talking to the local guys, which we can talk more about that later. But, like, I don't know. I think people would rather just, like, see models revealed and get rules than, like, watch people paint, like, droidicas for 2.5 hours. Or, like, paint Magna Guards and then, like, never show a card, never talk about their rules. Just paint them. It's like we all can paint them, right? Like, everyone in this hobby will paint these models eventually.
Yeah. I
don't know how many people are like, I need to copy the AMG paint job. Like, I'm going to go back and really study these streams. It's like, no. Just give us the like rules of the model. That's all like people actually want to tune in for. That's all people care about. Like, some people like painting, but I think it's a very small percentage of people that are like super fired up to watch paint streams every week.
Yeah.
Which seems to be like their primary avenue for releasing content. It's just like, we're painting this, we're painting this, we're painting this, we're painting this again, we're painting this pink this time. It's like, nobody cares. I'm sorry. That's just that's the reality of it. It's
yeah.
Thank you. Like, people in chat, like,
yeah, there's that. Well, we are going to get into the schedule, and we'll break down all the things that we think are going to be paint and all the things that we think are going to be cool. And I know that everyone's, there is people who are going to be interested in hearing a little bit about the behind the scenes or the business side, or maybe an update on production, or there is probably something for everyone. That's for sure. But I think I think we're speaking to a collective audience that's that it's basically a shared think tank with us, that we want new models, we want cool stuff, and we want stability. That the message of stability. We want to know that the game is going to be awesome, and we want some cool stuff that we can look forward to. We're pretty simple to please. I think I can say that with fairness. But as Joe's saying, like, a lot of us aren't sitting down to. I mean, in fairness, I barely ever paint, and Big Jace does most of the painting for me for my models, because that's not even. I have almost zero interest in doing that. I have interest in designing, doing the base work, and making them look cool, and then playing with them. But I'm focused on some other things. Yeah. Give me some terrain. And terrain. Hey, I didn't see anything on there about building that, and we had that before. That's true. And we had that before.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? The paint streams are fine. Like, so here's the thing: the paint streams would be cool if they also included like card reveals, right? Like, so I think there's been several instances in the last few months where people have like tuned into a paint stream just like anticipating like some information, and then like watched Yoda get painted for 2 hours, and then like nothing was said about Yoda.
Well, yeah, that's a very good point.
Why did I just waste my time? I could have literally looked at a picture of Yoda for 12 seconds on Twitter or whatever, and that like would have served the same purpose.
I think you make a really good point.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, and maybe that's changing. But again, like, I used to get super fired up to like watch all these streams, and then I got super disappointed by them early, and now I have like no interest in going back and watching them ever again. Like, because what I notice is like any relevant information that I actually care about is going to be screenshotted and shared on social media and Discord and stuff immediately, and really that's all that like matters to me. Yep. I don't really need to watch someone paint a model for 2 hours. And if I'm going to, like, I'll probably watch like a Sarastro video because it's edited down to like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And like, it's not just like a live stream of painting, which is like, it's rough. It's rough. Like, that's just me. And also a lot of them are happening on weekdays, like during the day, which is like when most people are working.
Yeah, I literally got a ping for, I don't know what the live stream was about today. I will probably watch it because I'm just a consumer of all things, of which I'm going to piggyback off your comment. But I was sitting at my desk today, typing work emails. I see that they have gone live, but I'm not in the position to go watch that anymore. Like, now I'm working in the day, as most people typically are, right? I lost my ability to consume that, at least live. And we're going to get to the chat because we don't want to neglect you, or the 36 people hanging out. But I think what you said, Joe, is really important, and I'm going to piggyback like this. Joe and I come on every week. We share the screenshots. We give our takes. We share the information. We both listen to several other content creators within the Legion sphere to listen what they have to say about the exact same thing we just talked about, because there's value in the messaging, their takes, and their position on things. I would love to hear the people who have the game right now talk about the things that they are developing. You may not agree, and I may not agree with anything they say about Yoda or Magna Guard or the versatility or usefulness of Fluttercraft, but I would love to hear them say something about that. I would love to hear somebody talk about the game. I make a podcast because I love talking about the game, and I love listening to other people who talk about the game, and I love to hear Joe's inputs and the guests we have on. I would love to hear if you are even painting, for you to give insight. Give me 2 hours of insight about the thing that you're painting, or the terrain that you're building, or the tactics that you're developing, or like in your gameplay. That's what I want to consume. So you have the opportunity. Yes. I want to hear it. That's my thing, and it's not griping. I'm not trying to like
and
get hard or anything on them. But
to be honest, I think honestly less is more sometimes. Like, sometimes less is more. Instead of streaming like every single day where you're just painting models and like saying nothing, maybe like stream once a month and dump a ton of news on us, and then like we'll be super excited about it, and then people will stir about it for a month until like the next update.
Yeah,
you know, it's like there's definitely more. I don't know. There's more clever ways that like stuff can be released. That was the thing about FFG, is they kept things close to the chest. Then they would just randomly give us an article on like a Friday, and people would explode. But the article had like good information. It was like a full write up, a bunch of spoilers, some hidden stuff. You know, it was like you can speculate. It's like I literally do not need to literally watch paint dry. Like you know what I mean? I don't know.
That's accurate.
It's all cool. Right. The painting streams are cool when they're like not all the time, and that's all that there is, right?
Fair.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think sporadically consumed in small amounts, it's like anything, right? On the topic of tutorial, I'm going to show you guys the new trailer because it's the start of the month. But that being said, I can't anticipate putting out something that everyone is going to like, and so I get that you're putting out a paint video and not everyone's going to like that, but like at a certain point, I think it reaches a saturation part. So mix it up. Like there is so many like clearly enthusiastic and good hobbyists at AMG that like I liked when they were doing like there was John was doing like the Dooku Yoda, both paint and a little bit of a vignette. Like he was doing a scene together. That's cool for people who are kind of into that cinematic, like replicate something from the movies. Dallas is clearly painting a really cool Fluttercraft. Okay, that's cool. Painting some wood. That's a unique paint. That's a unique paint scheme. And then like John was working on a bunker. Like put that terrain back in. We started to see more gameplay. Like clearly that is a a hot topic and hot consumption item for people. So it's super important. Okay. Well,
it's not bad.
Ahead.
It's just I don't know. It's just there's too much of it, I think.
Too much, yes.
Too much. Yeah, we're
gonna get and we're gonna get more of it. So we'll get into the schedule after. We'll dissect. We'll say what we're kind of looking forward to. So not to like I said, I'm gonna consume it, but I can't consume all of it in any one time. But all right, we got 41 people. I don't want to miss it. Let me get the quick roll call here. Tom Walker's in the house. Travis in the house. Brandon B. Smith. Aaron. Canadian Bear. Patrick is here. Phoenix Games Australia. We'll maybe give a shout out there. Well, we will give a shout out there. What's going on that way? Malik's here. Timbo's in the house. Tyrone. Noah. Is it Low Parse? Did I say that correct? Low Parse? Okay. Justice. Let me see. Sean Neth's here. Carson's here. Or that's Kaysen, sorry. Making sure Rico's here. Bernard's here from Ottawa checking in. Brian checking in. Patrick, I think I said. Fisher checking in. Scrolling down. And I think I got them all. And Mike Colton saying hello. So if you come in after that, definitely get in there. 44 people in here. So we got a couple other things to get to. Let's get through some fun Legion Academy related items, and then we'll jump back into the new releases, and then we'll get back on the AMG stream here. Donnie checking in as well, eagerly awaiting his tokens for sure. All right, you guys have seen me doing these before. Community shout-outs. Two things I want to point out. Hector David Garcia saw this on the painting Facebook group a little while back. One, I like it because it's a bus. Two, I like it because I really like the sort of dilapidated rust effects that he's gone for here. So really, really cool. I don't have any close-ups of this just because I wanted to give you kind of a collage view, but I had a look at the close-up of this, and he did a really good job on the chipping effect. So if you're looking for sort of inspirations and ideas around that, it's cool. And anytime people are doing kind of like pin work or sort of hand painted designs, I really like that. To run a strip around a vehicle, especially he's got it running through the door, which is elevated, is not actually that easy to do, especially when you carry it across such a large hull of a vehicle. So well done there, and I like that he's got it both the sort of horizontal as well as that sort of parallel racing stripe on that. So really, really cool. I think it's simplistic in the base work, not taking away from the paint at all. And I kind of just saw it and caught my eye, so I thought I'd give a shout out. So Hector David Garcia, if you see that, go give him a thumbs up on there. So Hollywood Wargaming finally catching us live. I need hot takes on the Fluttercraft. Might not be the show for it. We'll give you some takes on the Fluttercraft. And then Zach, I think I'm saying it correct, Buzzard, I think is how it's pronounced. He's got these really cool, and there's another one, I think Commander Cody challenge coins, I guess it would be. They're metal. The back has the insignia of the clones. Really crisp blue. The back looks incredible. And I think they're on his website. He sells a few different items. I had a look. He sells some T-shirts and some cool sort of Star Wars related swag items. $12. $12. Really, really cool. So I think these are shipping now, and I think the Cody ones are maybe pre-order. I could be wrong on that, but go check that out. Search up Zach Buzzard on the Facebook group, and you can see that. So go support it. Go support him if you're interested in that stuff. The challenge coins are kind of cool. I kind of remember the medals way back in the X-Wing days when you used to get little medals to clip on your bag, and you could tell who had been to all the early X-Wing events because they did away with those. But yeah, I thought that was a kind of a neat idea. So not to steal that, but hey, maybe in the future we could do a Legion Academy challenge coin. A pin
Maybe
or
we
something.
could do a pin or a challenge coin or something.
Kind of cool.
I know a lot of people are into pin collecting in the Star Wars community. That's like really big. Pin trading, Celebration, and at Disney and stuff is really big. That's cool.
Remember that?
I know we're gonna do. Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, remember that year at Celebration when you bought a pin and you got a limited edition Vader, or it was the other way around? One or the other.
I do remember that. I was there.
Yes.
I also. Yeah, that was an interesting one. That was a miss. That was a huge misplay on FFG's part, but that's okay.
Yeah.
For those of you who were there, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway,
what did you want? You were going to go into something.
Oh, I was just going to say for Patreon, the next thing we're doing is like patches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're getting patches made up to send out to everyone, and then future state, we've also got the dice trays and the card sleeves in the works. Trying to take suggestions from you guys on other things you'd like to see. I don't know, pins might be a good idea. That's kind of cool.
And when Joe says card sleeves, we're referring to the ones that are going to sleeve your battlefield deck. So your battle deck. Your deployments, conditions, and objectives. So kind of a unique sort of color scheme to that, but with a little bit of a Legion Academy flair on that. So, but you don't need to be a patron to get our tokens, and sorry for the little bit of a PSA here, but we want to make sure we get these out every episode. We end up getting a little bit of a trickle in, which is fantastic. I'll let Joe talk about this in a second, but I don't want to forget, if you are an Australian or a New Zealand customer, in chat right now is Bryant from Phoenix Games, and he has put a post up, and I think in your sort of Facebook groups of the world, but he has graciously agreed to facilitate getting the orders shipped over. And I think what's the stock standard Australian shipping rate, Joe, just for one set, and versus what Bryant has told us it's going to be for folks over there? It's like a considerable.
It's like 1/3 the price to like place an order through him, essentially.
Yeah.
So I think shipping on average to Australia for one set of tokens comes out to like $26,
right,
for us, and it's like insane. Understand that that's like super expensive, but that's just kind of how things are.
Yep.
Bryant's agreed to like just if we ship, awesome. So if we can just ship a huge bulk of them to him, and he's got a store, and then he can like distribute them to the Australians, and it's like $8 or something instead of like 26,
right,
or something like that. I don't know the exact shipping, but it's like significantly cheaper if you just like have him ship to you. So
for sure,
reach out to him. Absolutely. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, that would be super awesome.
Rob Kopp calling for the beer cozy. We'll just call it cooled canned beverage support support, insulated support. We should probably have to stay away from all things beer cozies, but we could call it something.
It's like that. Well, it's like that scene in Tommy Boy where he's like, "I could put a whole pack of soda in here."
For sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, whatever comes in that size can. Man, we could look at that. We also get Legion Academy barricades. I don't know. That seems a little bit too Legion Outrider-esque territory to start getting into.
Yeah, we don't want to step on those guys.
Yeah,
toes, man.
I think they already got that. Then we got good relationship with those folks over there, so we're not trying to step on anyone. But what's the cost for the tokens for the EU folks? I think you have to go in there. Just go in, Patrick. Check it out on the website, legionacademy.net. Just punch it in. You can put your address in, and before you have to commit to a purchase, it'll tell you what the shipping will be. So.
Yeah, it's just calculated based on your address. It's like synced up to like stamps.com. We're not like setting it's just whatever like the USPS charges to your address. Yeah. So it gets a little expensive internationally, but at least, I mean, we're just trying to give people the option.
Yeah. For sure.
They want it. We have got a lot of international orders. So.
A lot actually.
Appreciate that.
Legion Academy glove for the important dice rolls. Okay.
Yeah. If you guys are interested, legionacademy.net. The shop is at the top. It's the only item in the shop right now, so you should be able to find it.
You bet.
So appreciate that, guys.
Okay, we are just about that time we roll over. Okay, last promo for sure. This is selfishly me. I just dropped a new tutorial, of which means that we'll have one pop out on the other end that will be free. But if you guys are interested in how I did the base work on the Kashyyyk project, meaning straight up from foam to the finished sort of tuft and plants, I have a tutorial. It's about a 40-minute one actually, because I walk you through how to make the homebrew formulation of ground cover. I also show you production ground cover as well, and how to string those two together. If you want to know about transitional flocking, I also talk about it. Here's the video real quick, 54 seconds of your life. Go to a bathroom break if you don't want to watch it. Here we go. Perfect. And there it is, all about that base, as I attempt to use more and more clever titles. So check that out. It's on the Patreon. Thanks to those who have joined this month. I did get a few new folks on there, and I had another council last night. I do a little bit of a council session with folks on one of my tier to plan projects. I will say I get as much enjoyment out of it as I hope the folks do, as I get to see all the cool things happening in the Legion sphere in people's basements and what they're working on. So I had a very lengthy conversation about MDF last night. So Donnie's saying I watched some today, some new products and techniques to try. That is mostly what every tutorial is, Donnie. I always say that the $5 that people invest to become a patron, I try to cost save you in one video so you don't go out and waste unnecessary money. I had that exact conversation last night, and Jonathan was his name, and when he left, he's like, wow, you just saved me a lot of wasted money. And I'm like, then it was worth it to you. So for sure. So fun things. Hey, AMG, let's do some tutorials. The people are looking. They got a captive audience. So maybe Joe. But until we see any of that, let's crack over to some of the other stuff here. So I'm not sure if you saw this, Joe. I think you said you didn't, and then we had a brief conversation about it. And I don't know if anybody in chat saw it. If you did, let us know. And if you didn't, well, here you go. Went to the Twitter to grab the latest Fluttercraft stuff, and the Rolling Thunder, the Battle of Kashyyyk fresh coats. September 10th, 2020, 5:30 PT. And sounds like maybe they're doing a battle report, but I'm not really sure because it says fresh coats too.
Fresh coats. I think this is just they're gonna paint some snail tanks on stream, and then they're gonna play a game with them.
Okay.
I think that's what this kind of is. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
some Fluttercrafts and some snail tanks and some spiders. The stuff that they've been showing, they're gonna paint and then put them on the table.
Right.
Essentially. Yeah.
I mean, let's hope so. Yeah, for sure. So,
I think there was like a section on the actual schedule that said that they're going to play a live game using Kashyyyk units.
I did see that. So. I just didn't see this image until just today, so I don't know when that came out, but wanted to make sure you guys, if you hadn't seen it, you see it now. So cool thing on the table, I just installed the vines, and so the guy swinging down here with the bowcaster is very reminiscent of what I'm going to have on mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that, that Wookiee warrior from the original box that's got like the Reich blade like way above the head. Like he's holding it like up above, like, the classic, like I could shoot that and draw a line of sight from it. I'm going to cut the blade out and twist the hand because I think he's going to make a really nice sort of swinging Wookiee. So that is my plan. So, hey, and as we said before, folks, snatch up those old boxes. If you see them and you think there's something that you want in the old boxes, don't plan on those being released anytime soon. We're already hearing like Mauls and Anakins and all that stuff's really hard to find. So I saw a store, it looked like they had a really good, I don't know where they were, I think they were US based, really huge stock, and it was like, I think it was like 20% off, and then if you spent $100 or more it was like 30%, and if you spent 200 it was like 40%, and he had like a wall of Legion. And hopefully that was somebody trying to like move old stock and get things out there, and not like as a retailer not wanting to stock Legion. That is a big fear of mine, to be perfectly honest. Is that you were saying like, people in your local scene maybe like not playing or taking a little break or something like that. I just hope that your local store's like, well, if people aren't getting it, I'm not going to be bringing in, as much as I did before, because that hurts when you try to like have that ramp back up. That's what I think it really hurts.
I did look at that guy. I know what you're referring to, that post that was on social media where some guy was like, this guy ships worldwide, look at all this inventory. And I did look at it and think to myself, well, it's a lot of like year one and early stuff. It's like he's got 1 million Veers and Wookiee warriors and stuff that's been out for a while, E-Webs and stuff.
Like I'm hoping
I just
that's
have a
what
feeling
it is.
I just have a feeling the guy's just been sitting on like a lot of old inventory and just wants to get rid of it. So just discounting it.
Like I hope that is what it is. I just hope that, and I'm hoping that stores don't like.
It's probably what it is.
Yeah, let's hope. I mean, I'm still pre-ordering with my stores, and I'm planning to stay with it. But like, it gets a little tough, right? When you're getting all the new stuff, and like you can see that slow trickle down, where people aren't getting the newest stuff, and then you get that little gap where it's like, well, I didn't know that unit, I don't know that keyword, because they lose a little bit in there, and I'm hoping that's not the case. But nonetheless, we do have new units and we do have new things to talk about. So no particular order, but I got the DSD1 Dwarf Spider Droid up to talk about first. We have showed you this screen before. We talked about it, but we got a couple new things to talk about, mainly the unit cards. So I'll rattle it out, and then Joe can give you the hot takes on it. So DSD1 Dwarf Spider Droid, 55 points, obviously going into the CIS faction. A ground vehicle, 6 health, 4 resilience, white dice for the saves, surges up to hit and down to block. We got a wicked kick coming in for the melee with a red, black, and a white. He has a ranged attack, area of effect attack, I guess. It's like area of effect.
It's not a... Yeah, it's the self-destruct attack. It's an area attack.
So. Area attack that like is going to hit at a particular range, I guess, but has no range band in terms of like the standardized ones that we're used to seeing, with a blast and an impact 1, 3 red. It's pretty good. It's basically like a bomb going off, I guess you could describe it as.
Well, it's literally a bomb. It's the same rules as like any other bomb. It's range 1. around like its base. Yeah.
Yeah, just to be clear that it hits a range, but it doesn't have a range band like you would traditionally measure. So you'll measure from the base here. So self-destruct 4, which is a free action indicated by the icon there. We'll get into the ruling here in a minute. So I'll just leave it at that, and we can leave off the suggestive text and get into the rule. Armor 3, which is kind of cool. A climbing vehicle and expert climber, which is really awesome. And then programmed, which you must equipped. I guess I'm not sure what's that insignia referred to.
It's a new symbol that essentially is the programming slot.
Yeah, is that what they're calling it? That's what I mean. I know it's the new one. Is that what icon's going to be called? Programming icon?
I mean, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
It's the slot you equip your programmed card. I mean, okay. They haven't really shown those cards yet, so we can't really talk about them yet. But it's like that's what it is.
Yeah,
it's like this. It's mandatory that you equip a programmed card on this.
Yeah, well, we have seen it here, right? Because we got the attack.
Right.
Oh, protocols. That's what it is. Maybe it's
protocols.
Yeah. I knew there was a different name, and I just was trying to remember.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Programming protocols. I mean, there's a lot of similar sounding words here.
Yep.
It's essentially like it requires you, like it says you must equip this card.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are speculating that those cards are going to define like what their AI does.
Yes.
I've seen like tons of people speculate that because based on the names of the cards, it's like what attack protocols or something, or like defense or something. I don't know. What are they even called? What do they show in that?
I think they're attack, defense, and I think the other one is engagement. I believe that word says. Yeah. Engagement protocols. So yeah, sounds like more like an attack. An AI attack, AI defense, and some sort of AI move.
Yeah,
probably,
AI dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like AI dodge, AI attack, maybe AI move. I'm guessing are the three.
Not sure if they're
think about it. I mean,
pointed though.
It's a droid.
No, not sure if they
have AI. No, I'm just saying it's a droid and it doesn't have an AI on its card, where like basically all the other droids do. So I think it's a pretty safe assumption that that's just going to define what the AI is, but it's now player choice as opposed to like you're locked at whatever. Other than that, we don't really know anything else until they show it. We don't know if it's 0 points or like it costs points. Whatever.
Yeah, it'd be weird. It'd be crappy to pay for an AI, but I guess it's maybe
no. That would, to me, that's confusing for no reason. But
we'll like I'm okay with the must. I'm okay with the must. But I'd be like okay with a must and 0 points or something.
Well, here's the thing. You say that, but some AIs might be better than other AIs. So maybe they are points costed, and they're all different points.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, it's like AI dodge is not the best on a melee unit because you kind of want to press forward, right? So AI move might cost more or something. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we'll see. Who does? It would be nice if somebody told us about those things. But we'll wait till we read about them ourselves and then tell you guys what they say.
I have a feeling by the Mini
Extravaganza, we have to. We have to. Yeah, for sure. So again, just some confusion in the chat here. So like I said, I was just saying we know it's a range 1 as bombs are. It's just when you look at that, it's really close to that melee one. So just understand that it's not doesn't have a different range band, and it's only tied to that self-destruct. So it's not like you can just shoot that 3 red dice out at range 1 with blast and impact all the time. So that's why I was saying it's not a traditional ranged attack. It's obviously tied to the self-destruct. We can show you that right now just to clear some of that up. I don't think there's confusion, but I don't want other people to listen to this later and think there was. So self-destruct weapons, a weapon with a red self-destruct icon, which do you think there's going to be like non-red self-destruct icons? I mean, just maybe future-proofing there. Like, would you have one that's like a white self-destruct icon or a black self-destruct icon. I don't know. It's weird that they specified color there.
I mean, I don't know.
Like, what's the purpose?
That necessary? Like, if
that's what I'm saying.
Self-destructs, it blows up.
But what's the purpose?
How many more different ways?
What's the purpose of red, though, is what I'm kind of getting at. Like, wouldn't you just say icon? Fair enough. Is a self-destruct weapon. And then just because you weren't clear, self-destruct weapons can be used only during self-destructs. So that is specified 4 times in those 2 sentences. Then we go on to say, the self-destruct 4 keyword allows a unit to use its self-destruct weapon. In this case, the DSD1 Dwarf Spider Droid can perform a self-destruct attack as a free action. Well, that would be weird if you had to like use it as a non-free one during its activation. If it has at least 4 wounds, or 4 wound tokens, I should say, by using the self-destruct 4 keyword. So just keep in mind, it is a 6 health unit with a resilience value of 4, and you can only trigger this free action once it has 4 wound tokens. So your window is 4 and 5 effectively, because you're dead on 6.
Yeah.
So, a self-destruct attack is a free action with the following effect. Perform an attack using a unit's self-destruct weapon against each unit, friendly and enemy, at range 1 and in line of sight of the unit performing the self-destruct action. So, do you have to draw that line of sight? That would include to your own or enemy units. And after performing all attacks, the unit performing the self-destruct attack is defeated and removed from play. Self-destruct attacks are ranged attacks. So as I'm reading this at first glance here, Joe, if I trigger it on 4 wounds, whether I take a wound or not, I'm just removing the spider at the end of that.
Yeah, I mean, you kill yourself to do an extra attack.
Yeah, I'd kill myself on 4 and I would kill myself on 5. But what I'm saying is it doesn't matter if you actually take any wounds or not, 4 or 5. So you can play that gamble and wait to get to 5 and try it, or you could just go for it on 4 at your first available opportunity, I guess. Is that how you understand that to be?
100%. I mean, it's just this is a tricky effect. Okay, so it's an insanely powerful attack, but has several drawbacks. One of them being you have a very small timing window to like actually pull this off, because if you don't have order control, your spider's probably dead before it even gets to activate. If you do have order control, you have to like have 4 wounds or 5 wounds to do this, but not be dead and not have 3 wounds. And I guess you're just kind of saying, okay, let me add 2 other caveats. One is when they showed this card, they didn't actually show what any of the like 3 weapon upgrades that you can equip on this actually are. So if we assume that this is kind of a similar mirror to an ATRT, I know that they've already confirmed that there's a flamethrower, because that like that
was on the box.
Of the back
it was literally on the box,
right?
Yeah.
So there's a flamethrower, right? So the way I see this is like the other 2 weapons are probably ranged weapons like RTs, like range 3 band, maybe range 4 band, maybe some sort of laser cannon, maybe some sort of like range 3, like big dice pool gun. You're probably never really going to be self-destructing when you're using those weapons, because you're going to be backed by your army. And what are you going to do? Blow up on all your own droids? Like your friendly units take the rolls too against these, right? So probably never going to be using that. You're probably really only going to be using self-destruct when you're flamethrowering. And it's going to be like, okay, I'm shoving in, I'm trying to go for the flamethrower attack. If I'm lucky and I have 4 wounds on me, I can also try to pull off like a big explosion. But you have to match your resilience value on wounds. So you might be action limited. You might not be able to double move and self-destruct. That could be a thing. So there's that. It's like this balancing act where you're like, do I put a bunch of repair droids in my list and try to like knock wounds down and like control my wound threshold so I can go for this big self-destruct play? Also, you actually kill yourself which means you just take an MOV hit for self-destructing. So it's going to be one of these things where like it looks really awesome on paper. The amount of times you're actually going to want to do it in a game, I think, is going to be limited, and it's also going to be more difficult to pull off than not. This thing doesn't have full armor. It has armor 3. If I throw a big like Z6 dice pool with a bunch of aims into it, it's still going to have to roll multiple saves because only 3 hits are going to be negated. It's not full armor. I don't have to crit fish as hard. I just need a lot of results. And then it's going to roll saves, and it rolls white saves, and it's just going to take wounds. So if it's at like 3 wounds and you're hoping to get like 1 more wound on it so you can go for the self-destruct play, you might just die before you even activate. So it's going to be like kind of tricky, kind of tough, but I think very rewarding if you can get these big splashy explosions off. I mean, it's 3 reds on a larger base than a trooper base, or on a larger base than like a traditional SAB token. So if you assume that it's like either Droidica sized or ATRT sized base wise, and you're measuring range 1 around that, it's quite a large distance. So if you can like shove into a ball of clones, get that perfect like 4 wound self-destruct off, because you're like, the next activation of this game, like the next clone unit that activates is going to shoot me off the table anyway. I might as well go blow them up first. Now you're rolling 3 reds blast into like 4, 5, 6 targets, and I mean that's pretty nasty.
I'll tell you the ultimate play, Joe.
Go ahead.
Is to go last with your 4 wound spider on bombing run, and you're going to double move in self-destruct. Free action, drop that bomb, and then detonate that bomb at the end of the activation too. That will be the play.
That could like table someone.
That would be quite devastating for sure.
Yes. So there's definitely a lot of like, this is a weird unit where it's like, it's kind of like a super sab where you're like, it's either going to do absolutely nothing and I'm going to be frustrated that I took it, or I'm going to get these like explosive plays off and like table my opponent super quickly. Yeah. I think that's really what this is going to be. It's like, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and especially if a flamethrower,
really like the flavor. Yeah,
and if a flamethrower is as devastating as vehicle flamethrowers, let's just go with that as a threshold. And you do like a move in with, let's say, assuming 4 wounds, we're just going to talk as if we're always ready to self-destruct. And you did like a move in flame with devastation, then just self-destruct, added devastation. Like these units can pull more than their point weight. And you could have 3, but the reality is if you have 3, I wouldn't count on this happening 3 times, but I don't think it needs to happen. I think the threat of 3 and then just having it happen once will be tough. CyberDan in side chat saying that, and this is part of that psychology when playing, right? When it gets close to that threshold, unless an opponent can basically smash it off the table, they may start to like pull back the shooting because they don't want to sort of trigger that effect against you, right? It's like that. It's
100%. If it has a face-up order token, you're like afraid to shoot it.
Yeah.
If it's gone that turn and you still have a bunch of acts left, that's when you go all in on it. Yep. So you either need to like alpha it off the table from range 4, or you need to like let it flamethrower you before you can shoot it. It's like a really interesting gimmick there. Now, the thing about flamethrower is it's like an ATRT flamethrower in that like this thing doesn't have relentless or steady. So it's, if it gets 2 actions, it's move, attack, right? Flamethrower we can assume is range 1, like all the other ones in the game. So it's interesting. This is a really interesting unit. I think it's going to give your opponent a lot to think about. I think it's going to be really splashy when people can make plays. I know there was some confusion and there was like an official ruling around, can you attack and self-destruct in the same activation? And the answer is yes. Essentially, self-destruct gives you an attack, but not an attack action.
Right.
So it's kind of like Son of Skywalker in that sense, where the flamethrower attack is your attack action, and self-destruct is a self-destruct action that gives you an attack. So you're not allowed to do the same action twice, but you're not, because you're not double attacking. You're doing an attack action plus a self-destruct free action, which gives you essentially an attack. So that was the ruling. They clarified that. So yeah, I guess the dream is like flamethrower into self-destruct and just kill like a ton of stuff.
Yep.
And get your whatever 55 points plus the cost of the AI plus the cost of the flamethrower is going to be. I'm guessing in the 80-ish range. Just kind of mirroring like RTs and other supports, like.
Can I go back and revisit something you said, Joe? Because I'm just trying to think about role distinction here. Because that point that you made earlier, I'm just trying to think about. Okay, you have this self-destruct action, and you were saying if it's like a holdback weapon, let's say it's got a range of 1 to 4 poke weapon, something like that, something in the laser cannon range. I don't think you're wrong in the sense that like when you get to that threshold, it's not like you're then getting up and walking across the table. It's like the proverbial Lord of the Rings when the berserker's running. Like it's like we got to bring that guy down. We can see that threat running at us. We're going to put everything into it so that doesn't reach, right? But I'm just thinking about in specific missions and a certain robot who likes to sort of like go into the back lines real sneaky like and score points, but you can imagine in a world where maybe you have a couple of these laser cannon equivalents. I'm just speculating that we have that, where they get to that 4 wound threshold and you sort of start managing your back. And I'm just thinking about a breakthrough scenario, where somebody just tries to sneak through the odd activation and generally they don't get there unscathed. There could be a world where you're just like, I'm not going to score with this unit, and you got a couple scoring. I'm going to send this guy in to shoot and blow up, because sometimes when you get to that breakthrough, you're like, all right, this will be safe, that'll be safe, you don't have enough shots to shoot this, I'm going to go in a melee. There's nothing that says units who get tied up in a melee aren't taking this self-destruct. If your units are tied up in melee and it's a breakthrough scenario, they're already not scoring for you anyway. At that point, you probably don't care about losing them. So there could be a world where the droids just become a little bit of that wild card in the back where you don't know what they're going to do and they could hurt you on a breakthrough scenario.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of where you could use a self-destruct in your own lines where you don't have to spend the game feeling like you have to walk them across the table in order to make that effective. So I think there's... Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, it's a pretty big radius, so you run that risk of just blasting yourself.
You totally, but like I said, you're gonna
hit B1s. It's probably 3 dead B1s.
Sure,
kill.
But if it's a breakthrough and they're tied up in a melee, they're already not adding value to the score anyway. But a lot of times, what I do is like I got to get my 3 troopers left, and I'm gonna go for that breakthrough run. I'm gonna double move and get into a melee so that I can score. And hopefully like tie your unit up. Well, if that happens, that's generally a point that you never can get back in any way. I do it with R2 all the time. I'll bury him in on the secret mission and tie him up just to make sure that he doesn't get hurt. Well, this gets around that. That gets around some of those sneaky plays. Like I've definitely had people score like 3 unit leaders on me in a breakthrough. I'd love to have a unit that just goes in and says, well, it's not doing anything anyway. Kablamo. And could do some work. So I guess it depends on your weapon options. So
yeah, I think the hardest part is just going to be, is self-destruct worth it at the time? And is it actually even going to be possible where I'm just wounded enough where I'm not dead during my activation where I can actually pull it off? Gordon Freeman is asking, the real question is, how can you justify taking Staps out for this? I think I have some thoughts on that. I think that's a good question. I think it's... So, I actually really like the internal balance of the CIS's support options. They're generally all costed pretty similarly. They're all interesting and flexible and serve different purposes. Obviously, this serves a much different role than a Stap unit. But if you look at it, there's a couple of benefits to it. One, it has Armor 3, which is essentially the equivalent of having your 2 to 3 dodge tokens every turn on your staff. right? You have cover 1 plus 2 dodges when you go to attack. That's basically armor 3. Because as far as I know right now, Staps have no ability to dodge crits. So armor 3 is essentially the same thing as tokened up Staps. The only difference is armor 3 is persistent for every single incoming attack. And your dodge tokens can only be spent once, and then they're gone. 2, this unit doesn't suffer from attrition like Staps. Staps are pretty garbage when they're single models. They're like pretty decent when there's 2 of them. They're pretty bad when there's 1 of them. So this is a unit that doesn't like lose too much damage. And again, we don't know what the heavies are, right? They might have some like God mode heavy that hasn't even been shown yet.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that their heavies are actually going to be pretty interesting. You know, because they have to fill that role of like something different that Staps or Droidicas aren't already trying to do. I doubt it's going to be like suppressive and critical. I bet it's going to be probably something different, you know, some different keywords that those other 2 units don't get. I mean, they're still on like they're again, I don't know if they've officially announced their base size, but I'm pretty sure a double move will still get them pretty far.
Let's not forget expert climber climbing vehicle. These things are going to be pretty unique in terms of like, you know, where they can go and how they can get there. I think that's
like expert climber putting one of these on top of a building. Again, if they have some sort of long range option, now you're just giving them cover, right? Like, and I've noticed like ATRTs are weird because putting them on a building gives them a lot more like vision, but it doesn't really protect them because they have dedicated armor. So giving them cover doesn't matter. But when you have armor 3 and heavy cover because you're on top of a building, you're now actually basically in the equivalent of full armor. Like you're really only rolling saves against crits. Like how many people are going to exceed 5 incoming hits? You know, like without impact into that. So that's interesting. The other thing, I wish they would have had scale, maybe. Like, expert climber's cool. You still got to, like, waste actions. The other thing that's interesting, I think these have the potential to do, like, the most offensive damage of any of the support options for CIS. I don't know what the flamethrower dice pool is going to be yet, but I mean, a flamethrower into a self-destruct is going to be, like, way more devastating for the point equivalent of a Stap than the damage output that the Staps are like ever going to do by themselves. You lose the benefit of having those like bombing run skews with Staps. You know, I get it. Staps are interesting. They're quick. They can like harass. They could flank. This just like I think just serves a different purpose, and I think it's just flavor, and it's whatever you want to do. I think it's a good option for the army. I'm excited to actually see what the heavies are going to be. And what their dice pools are going to be, but I have a feeling that these aren't going to be like a dead on arrival unit. I think they're going to be a really interesting option for people, and I think a lot of people are going to put them in their lists. But I mean, again, CIS just has awesome stuff like across the board. You have to make tough choices with that faction. So.
No, agreed. Sorry, I was just muting myself. I have a sick child, so she's grumpy tonight. But I was going to ask Joe before we jump into the Fluttercraft here in chat as well. Yay or nay, and do you think it'll be a little bit more prevalent than others? Do you think we'll just see people taking these as 55-point wicked kick self-destruct bots?
Maybe, but that's gonna be I don't know. That's gonna be tough to pull off. I think like no ranged attack whatsoever.
I mean, you do when you blow up. Like, I mean, you do when you blow up, I guess. So,
yeah, but that's so easy to play around because they don't present like any threat. Like, at least when the flamethrower is equipped, you're like, oh crap, I need to like run away from that flamethrower. It's gonna like one shot my stuff, like any other flamethrower in the game. Or you're like, I'm incentivized to like shoot this thing a bunch of times, and like I really got to make sure I kill it before it gets to me and stuff. When it's just like wicked kicking, I think you could just like ignore it the whole game and it'll never self-destruct and like not really do much.
Well,
Maybe.
so
I don't
fish,
know.
so fish, so here's my thinking, and Fisher's kind of already sort of alluding here. It becomes another way where, yes, they may not do anything significant, but it becomes another.
But you get to 15 activations and you're the most annoying.
In the form of 3 ground vehicles that provide all the things that ground vehicles do that aren't weapons, right? The blocking capacity, the inherent cover that's there, and you're not bad for a blocker. Like, you're a blocker that, like, if you're just going to straight base it, it's going to kick you, and if it gets to the threshold limit, then you have to play that buffer. So I can see a world where 3 and you get 1 off and you feel good, and you probably feel okay at 55 points too. It's the act limitation that you might not want to do, but at 15 you still got breathing room on that. So that's what I was kind of alluding to there. I can see people just stuffing these in.
I guess like that's the thing. You're already at. So again, this is my problem with CIS in general.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, is that okay? There's already a 13 act list with staps, which are more expensive, and it has a massive bid. So what? Now you just shave like 60 points off of that list.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Do we really need like a 15 act list in this game, or do we really need like ridiculous bids? I don't know. Yeah, sure. I mean, cool.
I can just see. Yeah, that's why I was just kind of, when I saw it, I was like, maybe you just take them as.
This game's in a healthy state. People are feeling good about it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
let's make 15 act lists.
But let's be real. Like, what other, like, let's listen. And I'm not trying to compare, apples to oranges here, but look at this card right here, with 5 keywords: surging offensive, defensing, pretty good threshold to arm to health ratio. It's got an inherent melee. It's got a cool extra attack that's not costing you an action. It's got a few upgrade slots, and it comes in a 55-point package. That seems significantly more robust than we would have ever seen before. And so when I get in, we never really talked about, people did take naked RTs. I'm not going to say I've never seen a naked RT, but that was certainly more anomalous than anything else. I could probably make a case in a few scenarios where I think I could do as much damage with this, given the self-destruct and good positioning, that I could with a kitted out RT or similar pointed unit. Well, this in fact this would be significantly cheaper. So that's what I'm just saying. I think at 55 points, this is a pretty snazzy package. It's got a lot of options for a relatively naked vehicle.
I mean, I literally just built an 11 act list for CIS that has it's only at 491 points.
Yeah,
like
correct.
Come on.
Donnie says whatever the programming equip. So if the programming equip comes even at yeah. But assuming that is still a steal. So I mean, honestly, if it's as Joe suggested, where like you can kind of pick and choose, and one protocol is maybe better than the other, maybe the naked one with a protocol actually makes my case for me.
Well, here's the thing. I just built a 14 act list that's only 641 points.
Seems good.
So now I can add a heavy or like an operative to this.
Yeah, like a maul.
And like get to 15 acts. Mm-hmm. All right, let me add Cad Bane's. Let's
just get as many exploding things as possible.
Just a 15 act Cad Bane list for 766. Okay.
And what Joe's not telling you is he's hard bidding for Minefield. he's going all in on Minefield here. So yeah, but yeah, no, it's a thing. Oops.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah, seems
do
good.
It. Play the 15 act Cad Bane list.
Okay, first blush, feeling okay about the Spider, and not just because I like CIS. I just think it's a pretty robust package. Are we good on Spider?
Yeah, I think we can move on.
On the topic of robust package, sliding over to the Fluttercraft, which is less robust, less armored, and at first glance maybe less offensive on base card. But we have got we've got yet another option revealed today, and we'll bring that up and have a little look at that. You want the card first or ruling first, Joe?
Yeah, throw the card up.
Yeah, we want to flip the card. All right, so here it is, Fluttercraft. We had a look at it last week. So straight comparison, same health as the Spider, one less resilience. Does surge up and down like the Spider. It's got a pretty weak attack, but it is a ranged 1 to 2. It's got some. I've heard a lot of I think we were right on the cusp or the day that we got this card. So I've heard some conversation since we spoke, Joe, around making arguments around cover 2 and surge defense. May and with the ability to kind of have that reposition may make this seem a little bit more robust than at first glance. I'm not sure if you've moved on that at all. I just think that this gets broke too quick for me. Like I just think like one pool is probably gonna break this. At least get you to like resilience value.
Yes, 100% agree. I mean, listen, this thing. Okay, let's talk about the Bombardier for a second because now we know what the actual weapon options are. Right?
Yeah.
So we have the choice between like a piercing bowcaster with a pretty decent pool. Mm-hmm. You have to shoot it out of the rear arc. So you got to do this weird thing where you reposition and face backwards to get the shot. Not really a problem though, because it has reposition and it doesn't really have any sort of like weaknesses in any of its arcs, and it doesn't have armor. So like, why not turn it backwards? Whatever. Pretty decent attack.
Yeah.
2 reds, 2 blacks, pierce 1. Also awesome to fire support
white,
into.
two white.
Is it 2 red, 2 white? Are they both 2 red, 2 white? I thought the bowcaster was...
The Bombadier's up on screen right now.
No, I was talking about the bowcaster.
Gotcha. Sorry, my bad. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now it's transitioned into... So it's like, okay, it's got this like ranged attack that pierces and you can fire support into it. And so you could add pierce and a bunch of good dice into your dice pool to kill stuff quickly. I guess that's like interesting to me. Mm-hmm. The Bombardier is really weird.
It's strange.
It's using a new keyword, the overrun keyword.
Yeah, we got the rules coming up here in a minute.
So essentially, the ruling was, it's like essentially if this flies over you or through you, it gets to make an overrun attack to the target that it like flies over. And it can do this twice during its activation, but it can only do 1 overrun attack per move. But since this thing has a compulsory move and then can potentially move 2 more times, it can do 2 total overrun attacks. And it can only overrun like 1 target. So you can't like overrun 2 things at once or 3 things at once. Mm-hmm. Now, the rules on overrun state that the overrun attack does not give a suppression. However, this specific version, this Bombardier, has suppressive, so it will be giving you a suppression. I think they're just future-proofing it, just because there's probably going to be other units at some point that have this keyword too.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, these overrun attacks coming from the Bombardier will give you a suppression. So theoretically, and again, it says like an overrun attack is not considered like an attack action. So theoretically, what you can do is shoot your Kashyyyk pistol for black-white, and then double move and do 2 overrun attacks. So theoretically, this thing at its most optimal can do 3 attacks in 1 activation. So you look at that in a vacuum and you're like, wow, this thing is extremely powerful. And it appears that way. I mean, 2 reds, 2 whites is nothing. It's definitely not bad. This ignores cover. So it's probably going to force like 2 to 3 saves every single time it attacks.
Gonna give you 2 suppression for sure. You're gonna get a successful hit. Well, you're going to get a hit off on the 2 red for sure.
It's going to give you 1 suppression because the overrun attack doesn't give you a suppression, but the suppressive keyword does, so you get 1.
Oh, correct. Yes, that's right, because it's only going to trigger after. Yeah, that is awkward. Yeah. Okay, I understand. I got you.
Right. So that's what this is doing. But my thought is that it's just going to be kind of difficult to like pull this off before you die. And here's why I say that. The way I look at this is I'm like, this unit is essentially a fleet trooper, right? Remember like in the early days of Legion when you were like, no one played fleet troopers because they were super hard to march up the table before dying. They were super hard to do their thing before they got blasted off the table. Everyone focused them early because they knew they were such a threat. And the only reason that they're seeing play now is because, 1, they made their points equivalent to Rebel Troopers. So if you're running naked ones, there's like the argument that they could maybe stand by aim and like do objectives in the backfield behind a wall a little better than a Rebel Trooper. Or you're maybe considering putting them in an AA5 and shoving them in, and now they're like way more strong and stuff. In the case of this Bombardier Fluttercraft, you're taking something that only has 6 health, breaks at 3.
Yeah.
Has white surging saves, just like Fleet Troopers, and just has permanent heavy cover but no armor. And you're like, okay, I essentially have to quote unquote melee you, in that I have to like physically move through you to get my overrun attack. So I just have a feeling that if people are going to bring lists that have like 3 of these, they're going to see like 1 or 2 get shot off the table before they even like do anything.
I think standby just destroys these things.
I think so too. Now I think what do you do? You just castle up and take standbys. Now again, I understand that like the overrun attack plus the pistol like theoretically take 2 standbys out. But like I don't know, man, like this thing has to get in and cross through you. It's white saves and cover. Like
well, I think you vanguard with something, and you basically stand by, within standby range of that, and it's going to be very difficult to basically overrun and take off all the standbys. You don't have to kill these things every turn. You just need to kill them once. When they're gone, they're gone. So
100%. Yeah. So this is what I just really believe that a lot of people are going to go, oh man, look at the damage here. Like, can you imagine if I do like 3 acts of overrun to an army? Like, I'm going to gut them. And yes, theoretically you are, but like, I don't know. I just have a feeling 2 of them are going to get shot off the table. You're going to get an overrun in with like your 3rd one, and then it's just going to die, and then you're going to be down 225 points.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to like use this. Maybe not a lot of people, but people are going to try to attach their bombs and bombing run to this. I think this is the same reason why I think that attaching them to Staps, while Staps are quite good and speeder bikes I think are good as well, I do think that sometimes for me, I just look at one. I'm going to take out 1 Stap with a bomb. I just need 1 bomb to drop. Staps are better protected than the Fluttercraft. I think the Fluttercraft is going to be larger, give you more opportunity to shoot it. It's not going to have the dodge tokens. I think it's going to be seen as a little bit more of a bigger threat due to overrun, and not necessarily just from the bombing run perspective. But I'm not going to see this as a good bombing run option in my opinion. To be perfectly honest, I think it might become a liability for that, because sometimes in bombing run, you kind of want to run a unit off to do its thing and then maybe bring it back. I don't think you're going to have the option. I think if you are going to plan for overrun sort of, alphas with this, you are going to have to go all in on that. It's not like you're going to be able to, for lack of a better term, flutter around the table and then just sort of dive in when you have opportunity. If I see this on the table and I have range to it, I'm probably going to try to eliminate it straight away. Big dice pools, tanks, I feel, can probably just like take this off the table in a single shot. Fire supported, as you said, fire supported Z6 or any dice pool of any size probably gets through the cover. and destroys this. No armor means, it's just going to take hits to get rid of it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's cool. I want it to be cool. I wanted it to be maybe meteor. Overrun is cool, but I don't think that in Gar lists, Bleeding Axe via Fluttercraft is going to be a very advantageous route to victory.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird one. I don't know. I think B2s just shoot these things off the table, especially with standbys. I think that because again, you got this pistol. This pistol shoots at range 2. Well, in order to get into range 2 to shoot your standbys off, you're just triggering the standbys.
Yeah.
So you can't even poke the standbys off from a distance.
You can come around a building or something like that, but that's what I mean. The path in is going to have to be very point A to point B, and it's almost like you're sending in 3 to lose 2 to get 1 off. But I don't know. I don't think this is a very good package to do that. I think it's gonna be cool. It's gonna go off, and it's gonna be
it's cool, and it's cool, and some people are gonna have their war stories where they're like, I had the most insane triple Fluttercraft, and then I think a lot of people are going to try to run triple Fluttercraft, and they're just going to lose them early, and they're going to be like, this thing sucks.
I'm prepared to be wrong, to also saying that too.
Yeah, sure, totally. I mean, it's Fleet Troopers all over again to me. It's if you use them correctly, they're devastating, but most people are just gonna get them killed before they do anything interesting, I think.
Yeah.
That's my thought. I mean, I might be wrong, but I also think if I'm a Gar player, I think I'm cool to burn 6 acts worth of fire supports to one shot each of these one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I really think I'm okay with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Also,
folks saying that they don't think buildings are going to be high enough to cover them. I'm not suggesting that they'll be invisible.
I agree. They're on a flight. They're on a high up flight stand. They're air speeders, but they're bigger.
Fair. I'm not convinced that they're going to be invincible. What I'm saying is when you come around a building, you can vector off, potential standbys. Don't forget, you can also shoot standbys off with other units before sending your Fluttercraft in. That's probably the advantageous route to do that. But I will say this, the ability to have reposition is actually advantageous for the maneuverability of these. So it's not like they're going to have these big sweeping runs in. Having reposition before or after all standard moves is actually going to allow them to be a little bit more maneuverable than like an airspeeder, for example. So, but yeah, if your plan is to run into a standby mess, then you're probably just going to remove your Fluttercraft from the table. So you have other things with
I think the
range 4 poke.
I just straight up think if you're going to run these, you probably just put the bowcaster on them or don't use them.
Just take bark speeders. That seems like a better option to Fluttercraft.
I'm glad you said that because that's been the consensus amongst every single person I've talked to. Someone earlier, I think Gordon Freeman was like, why would I take spiders over stabs? My question to the chat is, why would I take Fluttercrafts over barks?
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Flavor, Wookiee flavor, I guess.
Yeah,
they'll be the thematic players will. Yeah,
but the fact that these don't have red saves is really what kind of kills it for me. I'm man, I would have loved them to just have 5 health red saves. Be a bark mirror with different guns, and now I'm okay, now we're talking.
100%.
The fact that
100% we're talking.
I think it's just a huge miss. They're just gonna die. I don't. There's nothing more to say. They're gonna If my opponent lines up in front of me on the opposite side of the table and goes, I have triple Fluttercraft with triple Overrun Bombardier, I'm gonna feel okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be like, oh god, this is gonna be a tough game. I'm gonna go, okay, those are the first 3 things I kill.
That's the thing, and that hurts the factions so much when you start losing 3, which is the opposite of what I was trying to make the case for the naked spiders. Send them in, they did nothing. You're down 3 acts. Great, right. I only outnumber you by 3 still. Sorry.
That's the thing. Is this is in Gar. the already expensive, potentially overcosted faction.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. People are gonna hate on me for saying overcosted, but we'll see. But yeah, this is. I mean, how high act are you gonna get? How high act are you gonna get? I don't know.
Yeah.
10 acts. Now you lose 3. Like, you want to play a 7-act list starting in turn 2? I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's not gonna be that fun. So at that point, you hope that you brought an army that was just for theme, because that's pretty much the only thing you got left going for you at that point. Yeah.
Now that being said, the model's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
So it's gonna look
that's
great.
That's why you want to buy 3.
It's gonna look really cool on your Kashyyyk table.
Yep.
It's gonna look really cool on people's display boards.
Yep.
It's gonna look really cool in my glass display cases.
Cinematic bases, people doing all kinds of cool stuff with them. Yep, all those things. That's what it's got. Going for it. So
I'm just feeling a little whelmed by it. I don't know how good it's going to be. Again, I still think the better use of this is just like fire supporting into a Pierce spool. Like, right. I think the bowcaster's just better, and I think, I don't know.
Just on that topic too, Joe, I just want to bring this up. I'm not sure, I can't remember if you had said or not, but I believe that you just mentioned fire support. On the overrun attacks, they are not able to be fire supported. So that's just an important distinction too, just so people, just so people know that pool is fixed. So like,
if you're gonna play these things, you probably want to put the bowcaster on them so you can actually like poke from a safe range band and then get out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you really want to just shove these things into melee range of armies. Like, good luck. You did one overrun and all 3 of them were dead. I don't know. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Nemo asking from the chat here, why doesn't the Bombardier from an aircraft have blast? Agreed. Probably should have taken.
Because it doesn't. Listen, it doesn't need it.
True. I guess.
Overrun does it just ignores cover.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yes, it's right there. So I guess
it's just
an
unnecessary keyword bloat at that point.
I guess
the rules already have a ignore cover mechanic built in.
I get the point though. You might have just maybe got rid of the unnecessary bullet point in there and just given it a keyword that's already understood. So I get it. Maybe I might have just said, let's give it blast because that is what blast is. But and it seems to make sense. But it is. I just remembered as I was reading that. Yeah, it's covered off in the in there. So and then it's immune blast itself. So maybe that's why they on the card. Maybe that's just why they chose not to put blast on there twice. So just to have that.
What I will say is that both this and the Spider give you a really interesting option for like shoving in and trying to blow up an army, where it's like it's not easy to pull off, and they have different weaknesses. But when you do pull it off, it does like a devastating amount of damage.
Yep.
I mean, like if you let these Fluttercrafts run wild on your army, you're toast. Period. It's.
And maybe it's just about threat presentation. I was just gonna say maybe it's about threat presentation, right? It's like you're dealing with a CIS army, and I'm running in 3 naked spiders, and you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like a lot to deal with. Meanwhile, I got Maul who's infiltrated. You're running up like a swath of B1s or B2s. Like you start to present more and more threats. Well, maybe singularly they don't look like much, and maybe the Fluttercraft if we're just talking about one Fluttercraft going in, doesn't seem like much for an army to deal with. But maybe you got Fluttercraft going in, and then maybe you got a Yoda, maybe you got fire support and clones running about, maybe you got you got all kinds of threats you can present. We're kind of dealing with it a little bit of like, well, I'd bring that in and I just blow it up with pretty much every available tool that I have. Well, what if your available tools are needed elsewhere or busy or also dead? Then maybe the Fluttercraft doesn't start to look so bad at that point. So, but I almost feel like if you aren't bringing your Flutters in right away and hoping to get something off to be devastating, they almost to me seem like a unit that you're going to want to like keep in the back. Like they can still score in breakthroughs. They'd probably be valuable in that. They could go threaten a back key position and touch something up for a threat in the back. They could do bombing run if you're willing to delay and kind of go for a 4, 5, 6 type score and not try to get off early bombs. Like they could have a role in something.
Sure. They could definitely, if you're playing breakthrough, they could be one of those things where you like kind of sit them back, keep them out of range, and then you go for the triple moves as people are moving up the table, and you just start like doing a bunch of overrun stuff. Listen, it's probably good. It's in certain situations, I'm not going to say it's completely useless, but
it's just not what I was looking for in it. Like,
no, it's just not a unit. I don't think I'll ever really play it. I don't like me personally. I just don't see myself putting it on the table. Some people are really good with supports, though. Maybe Paul Watson will just like table me with them one day, and I'll just be like, "Oh, that's what you're supposed to do with them."
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
That's the thing I didn't know that you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, like
AMG. Tell us how they're good. Tell us what this unit is supposed to do. Maybe we'll see it in the Battle of Kashyyyk.
Well, I'll tell you what. If the person wants to stage it, just don't shoot at them. And then they'll all of a sudden be really good. So you want to sell models, that's the way to do it.
Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, well, let's get into the last little bit here. We got some time reserved for the rules reference guide. The schedule's coming up after this, but do you want to give a sort of an overarching sort of thought about the original presentation of the rules reference? And this is like, I don't know if this is supposed to be like the pseudo image from the website. I took this off the AMG website, but like the documents and the like, none of these really things seem to be like buttons that click, but maybe that's the future that it's going to be. But there was a 1-page sort of addendum to the rules reference that came out, Joe, then got fixed.
Okay, so I know I've sounded kind of negative on this episode, and the reason I have is because like the Chicago community got really upset with the state of Legion and is collectively like taking a break and like pursuing playing other war games. And so like my local scene essentially like died. And it's fine because I'm very happy to play like Lord of the Rings and Age of Sigmar and some of the other games that people want to play now. But this was kind of the final nail in the coffin for people when they saw this whole debacle, and then they saw Luke Eddy have to tweet and be like, this is why you guys made 10 mistakes in your RRG page and shouldn't have rushed it out. And it's like, the optics of that was so disgusting that was like the final straw for like several people I know. And that's like why this is tough for me to even want to talk about, because I'm just going to end up getting upset. And that's why I've been kind of grumpy this whole episode. But it's literally like, hey, here's a page of rules that's not an RRG. Oh, look, a bunch of them are wrong or missing information. Who are we pandering to? Oh, let's look at our developer, Luke Eddy, who the community loved, and we just fired for no reason. And now he's got to go on Twitter and be like, well, actually, here's all the things you got wrong, and did like a 10-tweet post about like fixes that they need to add. Then they freak out and pull this like document down, and then they put it back up with like a bunch of the changes. And people are supposed to like pretend like that didn't happen, or like everything's okay, or like, well, at least they gave us that. Let's all like it. No. So like that upset a lot of people. Wasn't a good look. Upset me. Upset everyone I know who I talked to online who was not in my community, and it upset like everyone in my community. It was literally the final nail in the coffin for like multiple people, where they're like, I'm done supporting this game until these guys figure it out, because it's a mess and a joke. And then like, let's form a Lord of the Rings group. Like that's literally what happened. So that's kind of why I'm like kind of pissed off today. And like, this is kind of like what this just is like a trigger, because it's like, yeah, okay, you put up this joke page that you can't even like find on the website with like a sloppy attempt at rules that like weren't even right. And I don't know, like, good job instilling confidence. Oh, you made the whole like scene of people that I play with like quit the game. That's cool. Like, all right. I guess I'm stuck playing only TTS. So that's like what happened. So there's my rant. There's my rant.
Well, thank you. I'm also
Yeah,
still
I had
here.
to do it.
I'm
Yeah.
just giving I'm just giving some room on the screen here so we can get in. Well, we won't spend a lot of time on this because really I think we've talked about these sort of throughout the some of the units. But let's have a look at the page. This was the update, and then we'll get into the schedule, talk a little briefly about TTS, and we'll wrap it here up. So yeah, I agree with Joe. I was expecting, and we maybe had some foreshadowing that we weren't going to get a big one, but I was like expecting all of these things to be contained within the document that I'm very familiar with. And I'll be perfectly honest, as a as a consumer of the game, when the new RRG comes out and it has all the new things in, that's kind of my signal actually. And I take a read through almost the entire thing again. I was saying to Joe, like when the rules come out and the new rules come out, for me, when I reread through it, I always find a new thing that was already in there that I just either forgot or played incorrectly before, or be like, oh, I guess I've never run into this scenario, but now that I've seen more units, that's how that interaction works. It's the trigger for me to give it a reread and refresh. This didn't do that. All this did was just make me like, okay, we've mostly seen these rules and got a few clarifications, but they're sort of helter-skelter because we got a Taru coming out, and that's on Yoda, who's now finding his way into the stores and into people's hands. I think they had some tournaments in Germany that maybe had him on the table. And then we got a few other things, obviously a guidance, and then we've got override and overrun and programmed and reinforcements, but we got all these out, and the problem is we don't really have a hard definitive date on when we're going to get these units in our hands. And then I'm just like, okay, what is the point of this? I guess you got to get it out because Yoda is on the table, and so obviously that needed to be done. But I would have been okay if they would have held it, like, and just literally said, here's these two rule clarifications, and just held this for the full-blown RRG. I just really think that should have been the method that it came out in.
First of all, agree. Second of all, like, I do not understand. What? Okay, let's send everyone to the rules forum. Okay, everyone should be looking at the rules forum. That's the place you find all these rulings and FAQs. Oh wait, there's an obnoxious amount of them that have been updated over the last 8 months with no RRG update. Cool. So now they literally go in a paint stream and they're like, hooray. I saw people screenshotting this on Facebook where they're like, hooray, new RRG update on Friday. This wasn't an RRG update. This is a rules page. Could have been on the rules forum that you've been directing people to for a year. You got all the rules wrong in the initial post. So you create that level of confusion. You literally go and alienate the guy that created the game and wrote the rules that got let go from the company, where he has to like fix your mistake for you for free. And then they're like, oh, we never said we're giving you an RRG update. And it's like, well, yeah, you did, because people are sharing screenshots of you saying it in your stream. So maybe you should get some coordination when it comes to that. That would probably be a good thing. Maybe you should proofread your RRG before just like panicking and releasing it. That would probably be a good thing. Maybe you should actually make it easy to find on your website. I can't find it. Can you guys? If you don't click the direct link on social media or Twitter, do you even know where to find this? Like, I don't. It's not clear. That's cool. This also probably could have, these rules probably could have been included in the little assembly pamphlet that comes with the model. So if you're worried about the people buying the model needing the rule, just put this in the pamphlet. This is literally already a thing that's done with the other releases. So this isn't like this isn't a cleanup of the RRG that had all the rules forms. This isn't even an RRG. It's a page of rules that like mirrors probably exactly what's coming in the box of models. Like I don't understand. I don't know.
I just think I think exactly what you're saying. We did this with Cad Bane. Like just think like Cad Bane came out, had the rules pamphlet. That was what you could reference at the time, and it seemed to work out just fine. So, but again, just my gripe. lots of calls for pamphlets here. Future Patreon items, Legion Academy pamphlets. just update things.
Have you heard the words of the Lord and Savior Atomic Mass Games? Have I got a pamphlet for you?
Awesome. Yeah. Just look for Joe overrunning a town near you, dropping pamphlets abound. Oh, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
It's rough. It's not instilling confidence. People are really upset, so much so that people have literally sworn the game off in my local scene, and that's really what bothers me because I'm super invested in this game. Obviously, I mean, you can see the wall of models that I have behind me. We come and produce content every week, twice a week. Work throughout the week to make the content actually good. We've put a lot of time. We've play tested. We put a lot of time in. We participate in all these leagues. We fly all over the country to participate in tournaments, spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's not just me. It's like a bunch of the guys in Chicago that have been very passionate, very active members of the community, contributors. And no one's feeling good right now. And that sucks. Like and I don't know how AMG's going to fix it, but they better swing for the fences with Ministravaganza because it's not good right now. It's really, really frustrating. And every single week it seems like there's more and more frustration and not people being like, yeah, this is good. It's just people being like, oh, look what they blundered this week. Oh, like, do these guys even have a clue? And, you get 4 or 5 weeks of that in a row, and people just go, I don't know if I want to buy these models anymore. I'm going to go play a different game. And that's kind of what I saw happen, like, over the course of the last week in my local community, and it's a bummer. It's frustrating. So, now, none of those guys have sold their models. Everyone's like, I love Star Wars. I want to love Legion. I've loved Legion for years. I got to take a little break. Because this is just rough. Let's let these guys sort it out, I guess. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But
and I see lots of chat here. Anthony, I see you're in the chat too, by the way. I scheduled you for a game on Friday versus me, Anthony. So just so you know, and if you don't believe me, it's right there in writing. So there we go. I will say this, and just to clarify, and not to we're not going to sugarcoat what the message is here. We are intrinsically tied to the success of this game, not from the financial or monetary standpoint, but from the investment standpoint. Like, we didn't make these T-shirts for nothing. Let's just put it that way. It's my classic line. Is like, we don't come out here every week to talk about the game and strategy and hang out with the 50 plus people here on Wednesday night, Friday nights. We don't do that because we wish anything but awesomeness for the game. And I'm not saying that we're road mapping the success of this game either, but I think what you guys are saying in chat, what we're trying to say here on the air, hopefully somebody's listening to some of this, because amongst all the ideas that we have, hopefully we have some good ones. We are consumers of the game, therefore I do think what we say in terms of what we are looking for, although we are a small contingent of the purchasers of Legion, we are a fairly, I'd say, good representative of what people are looking for. So we're telling you. We're asking you for certain things, and we're telling you the best format to deliver. And I'm not about to tell people how to do their job, but we kind of are, in the sense that, like, I think it's kind of our right as consumers of a product to do that. Joe and I just seem to have we just happen to have a platform. We get to be pretty loud about it. So, and in a positive way, like trying to be constructive. We're asking for things, and this is the format. And let me just say this, because last point, Joe, and I don't want to get fired up about things, but if people ask for something and something comes out, that doesn't immediately discount the ability for a person to then have a gripe with that or a legitimate criticism of that. Like, if I said to Joe, I want chocolate ice cream, and he's like, here's an ice cream cone, and there's no chocolate ice cream. And he's like, well, it's an ice cream cone. It's close enough. You asked for that. I can have a complaint about that.
Shut up. The website's coming. Shut up. At least we got rules. Shut up. Like, all of that. It's like, no, it's not enough. It's not, yeah.
Yes, let's just stop with that. We will do it in a constructive way, but everyone has the right to do that. And I'm not getting super upset about it, but I don't like when somebody says something that they're still not happy and then they get dumped on immediately. People are saying, like, this doesn't sound good and I hope the game to be successful. That is what we're saying too. We want it to be successful for sure. In all ways.
My voice is the sum total of a lot of angry voices in my local scene, and I'm just kind of like spewing all of it. And I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I'm giving you what I'm hearing, and like I think that's part of our responsibility in this platform. This is just not like Sean opinion, Joe opinion. We're tapped in as many people are. So again, we're not the hub or the heart of anything, but we're tapped into lots of people. We chat Legion in many platforms and venues, and with lots of people. It's a collective, and I think what I'm seeing and reading in chat here, I don't think that we're far off what you guys are thinking. I haven't seen a single thumbs down, so we're probably hitting it on. But let's just up it. Let's just up the game a little bit in the sense that, like, get it on track. And I get it. You get a grace period, but at some point that expires too. Where patience runs in, and I think your scene, Joe, as you described, I think is a little bit, and probably that's being seen a little bit wider spread too. But that is a product of patience running thin.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So that's where it's at. So we're not going to, Oh, go ahead, Joe. I was just going to say, we're not going to get into the rules. I just wanted to highlight for you guys and break it out in a little larger format. And I will get myself off the screen because I'm irrelevant here. We've talked about guidance. We've talked about Ataru. We've talked about Override when we talked about the tac droids. Joe gave you a really good run through of Overrun here. Programmed, we don't really have much on that. So it is programmed for the protocols, and that's really all we have at this point. So reinforcements, we talked about that last week in terms of, I think that's of all the kind of keywords in here, I think reinforcements is a cool keyword only because I think it changes so much in terms of like turn zero play, unit placement in terms of like tactics for deployment. It also changes for me, like it could change fundamentally how I'm starting to build lists. It's like, I didn't really like this unit before, but hey, the ability to, I like heard people talking about commandos coming in. Well, yeah, if I could just like throw these guys down at the end as opposed to delay, and then still get out deployed. There's lots. I think reinforcements for me, most interesting for sure. Self-destruct, definitely. It's funny.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Luke Eddy clarifying that the section and reinforcements here is lacking, and it should say that players still alternate if they both have reinforcements.
That is a very key distinction for sure. So
and it's not in this RRG we're calling it, but that's a Luke Eddy tweet. Is that official? I mean, hope so.
I'm not sure.
He created the rule.
And my apologies. I'm going to go back and read some of these chats because you guys had a lot to say there really, really quickly. So if you feel like there's something you want to make sure we hear again, say it again. I'm fine with that. So I'll just put this one up because I know this will. You're tugging at Joe's heartstrings here. So Boss is killing my Legion vibe more than anything else. You're not getting any sympathy from me, Robert.
Oh, dude,
only because I'm running
so good.
The discount boss for sure.
I'm in Invader League. I'm like pretty sure I'm gonna go 0-5 because I brought an Anakin list for fun, and everyone else brought like really strong, good meta lists. But I'm in David Zelenko, like Endless's bracket, and he's got this like double bust, triple Wookiee list. I think you're playing like a very similar list.
Yep.
Sean.
Yep.
Double bust, triple Wookiees. I mean, it's like let's just hand out like 4 to 6 aim tokens every turn. Onto 3 Wookiees that just get duelists. It's pretty nasty. Massive bid, high act.
Yeah.
Pretty scary stuff. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. I'm probably going to get tabled. But no, it'll be a good time. He's a good guy, so we'll have fun.
Gracefully.
Man,
Gracefully.
Yeah, gracefully tabled. I'm going to go 0-5.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
I mean, sorry, not yep. You're going 0-5. I just meant yep. Gracefully. Moving along. We're gonna have a brief, and I'm gonna close this out here pretty soon, just because I want to go tend to that baby up there. But we got a couple more things here. Schedule for sure. Then we'll talk a little bit about TTS, and Joe, you can talk a little bit about. I'm not sure if you know what lists are in there, but we definitely got a few. I was gonna highlight in my group. Joe and I are not in the same group. That's good. Well, actually, I don't think. Jace is not in our group, and I don't think I'm playing anybody who I typically play. I'm playing Rob Kopp again, though, who we did play in Team League. So do my best. So this is that's the right schedule. No, what day does it start on? Thursday. There we go. That's the first day there. So just having a look at the jam-packed schedule, running 9 a.m. all the way up to 7 p.m. So a ton of stuff in here. So the welcome is going to be like 30 minutes. Then they're doing a panel. Talking about Marvel Crisis Protocol. So if you're a Marvel Crisis Protocol person, I think you're getting some. X-Wing maybe less. Armada, my apologies, and Legion we're getting some. So into the underworld, Scum faction ?
A lot of people speculating this is the Scum faction. I'm seeing other people speculating that this is maybe like some sort of new set of bounty hunters. This could potentially also be a dive into the Mandalorian era content.
Yep.
Because there was when FFG still had the game, there was I think it was a Gen Con or one of the other miniatures cons before COVID, where FFG stated intention after season 1 to release Mandalorian content. So this was, and at a press conference, there were some photos taken of a PowerPoint presentation. We thought we were going to get Mando 2 years ago. Maybe this is Mando, or maybe some IGs or something cool like that. Mm-hmm. I think an IG-88 would be a fair guess if we're looking at bounty hunters.
He calls for Crimson Dawn here in the chat. So
yeah, so yeah, we'll see what this is. I'm pretty certain that this is still FFG product, because I think Luke made a statement where he said that there's one more wave of stuff that he worked on that we haven't seen yet. So I think this is probably the announcement of the last of the FFG stuff. I'm hoping we've now seen all the Kashyyyk stuff. We're now going to get some other stuff. Maybe this is the Ahsoka that everyone wants, but Ahsoka to me doesn't scream underworld.
Hollywood Wargaming coming in just flashed up there with the hot take. This could mean Geonosians and Gungans because they live underground.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I hope so, bud.
All right, Jar Jar confirmed. Moving along. I mean, we're wild. We could have wild speculation here too.
Let's get a fish tank and just play a game completely underwater.
That sounds I'm just gonna you just make a table and you just pour 37 straight liters of resin in there. Just give it 4 weeks to harden and you're golden. Sorry, you can no longer move those figures. You're locked into your turn 0 forever. That'd be hilarious. All right, look, we get a little X-Wing. There was also a very funny comment. I don't want to miss it. So Nemo was like, no, it's not a Scum faction. It's just Scum models. And then Kaysen promptly said it'll just be painting. Fair enough. It is under the fresh coats category. So X-Wing's getting a little thing. Tactical Rocks 101.
They're painting a Boba Fett. Oh, that was the big That was the big secret. They're painting a 2-year-old model of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tactical Rocks 101.
Interesting.
Maybe as close as we're going to get to. It says custom bases, so that's maybe in the terrain-ish world. Painting armor, Tony Stark. So, that's up the Marvel Crisis Protocol line here, but maybe, there is armor in Legion, so that might be of value. Maybe not less reds and more whites, but... and then the hobby hang, that's the cap off the one day and just talk about the Star Wars painting projects. So rounding day one out with more painting.
This is happening.
That's Thursday.
This coming
Thursday.
Next
It's Thursday. Yeah, Thursday the 9th. Yeah, next Thursday.
So strange that they're not doing it on like a Saturday. I
No,
get it. It's probably their work week. But...
It is though. No. So that's when it starts, right? So then we're gonna click this off, and then we get into Friday. Friday's 9 to 7 again. Looks like they got less sessions, but maybe a little bit longer. So fresh rivalry. So this is inside the Spider-Man and Doc Octopus. That's like 2 hours.
That's a cool looking diorama, but
yeah,
I've seen people complaining that it's like, well, they're giving us models we already have in the core set. So again, to me, I am into alt sculpts that are officially licensed that I can play in tournaments. I think that's cool. Not everyone likes that. Not everyone likes that. I've seen people kind of split on that.
Right.
I'd rather have alt sculpts that I can go to the store and buy though, instead of ones that like I try to get at a convention and then don't get. Sabine pin, they're $300 on eBay.
Yeah.
Right. So it is what it is. But okay, boots on the ground.
So that's Will Pagani and Michael Plummer square off in a game of Star Wars Legion. So that's a game 2, and then featuring new units during this stream. Just a straight up featuring new units. So I don't know if new means like Spider Droid and Fluttercraft, or like new we haven't even heard about them yet. New units.
I doubt it.
I'm just saying. They're just saying new.
Yeah.
What's new at this point? The Spidercraft is definitely new. You've never heard of it. I mean, the Spider Droid and the Fluttercraft.
Hear me out. If the snail tank doesn't come out for like 4 or 5 months, then there's probably no way that they have like a playable model of like the next wave of releases like in hand yet. I'm guessing if they're going to announce new models, they're just going to be renders or pictures or something. Yeah,
fair.
So this is probably like, hey, we're putting snail tanks on the table that we painted like the day before, and that's great. Like I'm down. I'm down for it. I'm happy to see it, but I highly doubt it's going to be like even further out stuff getting played on the table. I think that's a safe bet.
See, I was going for the hope and dream and optimism. Joe went for reality. Well, Hollywood War Games says Yoda versus Barricades, so I look forward to that one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Yoda. Just a little shade here. Maybe Yoda will win this time.
Maybe Yoda will pick up and move those barricades with force lift.
No, because they're going to be marked as objectives, and they can't be manipulated.
Oh, okay.
That's what's going to happen. Moving along, we got Heroes Abilities, and then into the Rolling Thunder, the Battle of Kashyyyk. That's at 5:30 p.m. on a Friday. Awkward. That falls in another time slot ish. That we'll have another battle, not on Kashyyyk. I'm not saying don't watch the AMG stream, but go watch Friday Night Fights first. Then you guys can catch the VOD of their Twitch for that one. Just saying. Not saying you have to, but come check us out on Friday. We'll also be streaming Friday. We won't have any cool stuff like it will have though. That looks to me like Rolling Thunder. That's got to be a snail tank. I mean, it's got to be for sure.
It's totally gonna be.
That's gonna be cool. I'll have to watch the VOD because I will be busy playing Anthony. Two monitors. Two monitors, not enough. That's tied up for Friday Night Fights. We need 3. All right. Last but not least on the list. So just watch both streams. I can't. At the same time, I'm gonna be playing, watching, casting. That's just too much for me, Nemo. Can't do it. Here's the Saturday stream, 9 a.m. to 7. And it looks like we got new directions in Star Wars Legion. That sounds promising. That's Schick, Pagani, Kemp, Plummer. So you got the full team there, and they'll discuss where the game is headed. So that's the one right there. 9 a.m. or 4 GMT, 4 p.m. GMT. Tune in for that one. That's the one I will be in there. You'll see me in there. Morris 2017, 2018, forget what my handle is in there. That'll be me asking all the questions. You guys make sure you ask questions. Look forward to us talking about that specific stream. It's an hour and a half of Legion direction.
Yeah,
100%.
That's what we need.
That is what we need. Man, it would be so cool to have those guys come on our platform and talk about the direction of Legion after that. That would be great. Like the questions you didn't get asked or didn't get answered, open invitation to any one or all 4 of them. come chat with us. Then it looks like we got Painting Droids, Roger at 11:30. Then Painting Mall at 3:30. And then closing ceremonies and then the after party, I guess.
Cool.
So 9 a.m. That's mark that one on the Saturday. And then if you like painting, the rest of them. But definitely that first one Saturday. See, I would have liked to see that in the midday on a Saturday. Like that would be like, just make sure we don't miss anybody. I guess they're getting afternoons for some and early mornings for others. But go check that out. So yeah.
Well, I hope our local guys tune in and see something and hear something that they actually want to hear and want to like and feel a little better about things.
Yeah, fair enough.
And maybe they will. And unfortunately, there's a lot of product delays and stuff. So maybe some of the stuff we see might not even be in our hands till next year. But it is what it is, man. I'm cautiously optimistic. I want to see some cool stuff. Please show me cool stuff, guys. That's what I want. So.
Yep. All right, Nemo's been working on some good jokes here tonight, so I'm gonna give him this one here. He's like, painting an entire mall seems like a big project. Well done, sir. Well done. But Justin Reynolds coming quickly, and I like this one as well. Some people will think painting mall is going to be an underworld kingpin mall. Okay. I mean, people can think whatever. At 9 a.m. on Saturday, we're going to find out the future allegiance, and whether that includes a mall or an underworld mall, who knows? So, yeah, I know 2 a.m. Sydney, fair enough. Cyberdan, you can check out the VOD for sure, but make sure you join us on Friday Night Fights. I'm not sure what time that is for you, but check us out. Okay, last but not least, then we'll get out of here close to that 2-hour mark. And like I said, this is going to be good. I'm not going to tune in for every hour of 3 days, but I'll be earmarking a few of those, of which will be that dev and design. Clever name there, folks. Are these all going to be out of their basement, or will that I cannot say. That I do not know. I'm not sure on that one, Donnie. So just in fairness, I mean, I also produce out of a basement. So for all things, this train studio and me, but yeah, fair enough. All right, TTS, Joe. We'll go with you. I think maybe you're up first. Is this you? No,
I'm
that's
in
me.
group 15.
Yeah, that's you. Let's go with you first. So, hey, Ultramentra, I got your HH12 jokes for sure. You're entertaining the chat with those. So he's always got good ones. So this is Joe, 15, group 15. How many of those folks do you know? And did you have a look at the list and any one of them particularly scary for you? You mentioned Nemesis already.
Well, I believe Kurt Sig is in our chat right now.
He is. I don't know what is he Lord Dorn? Is Kurt hanging out with us?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So, hey Kurt.
Yep.
No, I recognize all the names, and obviously David Zelenka is in here. You know, everyone knows him. He's got that phenomenal stream channel. He runs the Yavin Base Team League. You know, did stuff with Fifth Trooper for a while. Good guy. I think he's gonna crush me. His list is awesome. Actually, everyone has a scary list. I was looking at all the lists and I was like, why did I play Anakin? Like, what was I thinking?
It's fine.
So there's a lot of CIS, as you can see. Everyone has a massive bid, which is interesting, except for me. So I'm red player on every game. I'm pretty sure
Consistent.
I'm pretty sure David said he was like making a joke, or I don't know what, in the chat, where he's like, why did I take a 780 point bid? I still got outbid on like multiple games. So that's kind of brutal. Huge bids. All 4 factions represented, which is cool. Obviously, uneven distribution in favor of the CIS. All 3 CIS lists different. One of them is a Droidica, a triple Droidica list.
Okay, there we go. I'm interested to see how that does.
So I was like, uh-oh, Anakin's dead.
He loves suppressive weapons.
Yeah, he really loves to get 6 suppression in one turn. That's good for him. So I think there's B2s in all the lists. Maul definitely making an appearance. I think one of them has like an AAT and some stabs. It's all just like really difficult stuff. I think one is Maul AAT, one is like AAT stabs. This stuff I'm not gonna be able to handle. I'm playing my game tomorrow night against Hob. His list is disgusting. It's 11X, huge bid, triple dewback, triple royal guard.
Oh, that seems like it enjoys
I'm like,
melee.
oh my god. Okay. So yeah, it's an uphill battle. I'll probably not make it into single limbs. I brought the silly Anakin list for fun, but that's okay. I never really was expecting to take this too seriously, and I'm just looking to have fun games with these guys. And some of them, like Kurt, tunes into our show and hangs out on our chat. So I'm hoping to have like a nice game with him, win or lose. So it'll be good. It'll be fun. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Anakin probably not the best choice for this specific bracket. I'm about to get crushed. But you, Sean, are playing this like ultra good double AA5, the same type of list David's playing. I mean,
I'll talk about mine for sure. I was just going to say, Joe, if you were to end now with scheduling conflicts, I think you're second in your bracket right there. So just call it right now, and you're good. Yeah, just finish the next under David. That's fine.
Right, so what you're saying is I gotta go like figure out a way to sabotage all 5 of my opponents so that they have to concede or something.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we can work on.
Some wire cutters.
Do some DDoSing or something. I don't.
Yep. Just be like,
my internet just doesn't work. I don't.
Yeah. Or is it your internet that's not working? I think that's fair enough. I'm in group 13, so lucky number 13 this time around, or unlucky, however you want to shake that down. If it ended right now due to scheduling conflict, I would be 4th, which is unfortunate, so I would not make the cut. But I feel like 4th, 5th, or 6th is probably where I'm going to end up anyway, so it's in and around where I need to be. So we got a mix in mind: 2 droid, 2 rebel, 1 empire, and 1 CIS. I was just having a glance at some of the lists again. The other rebel players also, I should say what my list is. So my list is a speeder truck, another speeder truck. One's got Shriv with Gonk, Tactician, Retrofit Cannon, and Comms. The other one has no pilot and all the same upgrades. I got 3 Wookiees, all with bowcasters, all with offensive push, all with tenacity, and all with targeting scopes. So just really wanting to make sure, like I said, I've played this a few times. The dice pool basically comes out to be like 7, 8, 9 hits in melee every single time. It's got a couple points of impact, a couple points of pierce. That's good. I brought in 2 fleets naked and 2 rebels naked. Just a little bit of a mix there. I kind of like the fleets a little bit kind of in the mid ground, using standby tokens when I can, just to throw potentially big ceilings of dice. And a little bit of poke behind them with the rebel troopers. So just a little mix. I had naked. It doesn't really matter. 6 of one, half dozen the other really cut. But I do like sort of fleets up behind the buses because I think they play in a range band a bit better there. And they got naked R2 because like if you can't beat them, you join them kind of thing. So I'm facing the CIS lists. I think both have Maul. As I said, the other rebel is playing double buses. And then the GAR player has a Obi. So it's Obi clones R2, and then phase 2, Z6 and 5 sprinkled in there, and then a couple arcs. So definitely got some big dice pools there. That'll be interesting to see, like, not a ton of, like, impact-ish in there, so that'll be fun to get Wookiees smashing into clones as quick as possible, but Copes is like a super good player, so probably just gonna lose, but I will have fun running all my fur in there to get destroyed. So am looking forward to that. I am going to probably try to play my first game on Monday against 2. I'm not really sure. I'm going to sort of space them out as best I can, but I'm also looking forward to it. But I have been having fun with the AA5s, and I might even give them a spin against Anthony. I might try to see if Anthony will oblige me and maybe play one of the 2 CIS lists. Both have Maul, so it feels like it's not a far stretch to get Anthony to play Maul. feel like he likes him. So probably could get to get that on Friday Night Fights this week. So yeah, so Group 13 for me and Group 15 for Joe. And sounds like maybe we'll each have a game to talk about by next week, I guess, Joe. Hopefully.
Yeah, I will be talking about my loss. You could talk about your win.
Well, it depends who I play and depends how I play. Like, I don't know how the double, like, you jokingly sent me that photo, and I don't think we shared it on here, but remember the photo with the 3 buses smashed in the middle? I'm going to just talk to Travis. I don't want to use this word, collusion, but maybe we negotiate somewhere where we have 4 buses that smash into each other. So I think that probably happens, whether Travis agrees or not. At some point, I'm probably sure those buses want to go in the same places. So I'll get a photo and share it to you, and hopefully my buses are alive. And who am I kidding? I'm not probably going to kill any buses with my list. It's not my main objective. I'm all going in for the Wookiee smash. So Wookiees are like spider droids, but they don't have self-destruct. But they definitely want to get in.
And they have scale, and they pierce, and they
and targeting scopes and tenacity and O push and two tacticians that just give them lots of aim. And duelist and duelist and they have a couple keywords. So
seem okay.
Seem perfectly fine, and they drive around in discount buses. So, yeah. But and I did assemble 2 buses, so the physicality of that model is awesome on the table. I do enjoy it. I do hate the peg that comes on it though. Just hate that. So, it's just a little bit of a weird one. So. Okay, well that brings us, I think, to the conclusion on that. So AMG, do good. And hopefully they blow it out with Mini Extravaganza. We got one more week to kind of gear you up to that. So I almost feel like is it worth having another episode before Extravaganza, or just let that happen? But we'll probably, because Joe and I will talk about our Invader and whatever else drops.
Yeah, so it's a weird one because I don't know how much news we're gonna have to share before that stream. I mean, unless they spoil some more cards.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll play it by ear. So if we don't, it'll be only because we'll drop right before, kind of right after. I mean, so because there'll be a lot to recap for sure. So yeah, but good crowd tonight. We appreciate all those folks. Phoenix Games Australia. Any of you folks that are in Australia or in New Zealand, I believe he extended it to. Hit up Bryant. He's got a post up there. Said he's already got 5 or 6 orders, which is fantastic. He's doing you guys a service. It helps us out, obviously, but gets you tokens at a discounted shipping for sure. You guys, Ultra Measure, you guys know who I'm rooting for, and it's in the name Invader. Fair enough.
I'll tell you what, if Burst of Speed were legal, I would probably be playing Palp Vader right now.
Yeah, what would I be playing? Not Palp Vader.
I gotta say, or Anakin Yoda, but I gotta say, I signed up for Invader League hoping that all that stuff was legal, and then it wasn't, and it's like, all right, well, it's okay. But yeah, I would have liked to have been able to at least test some of that stuff out.
Right. Yeah. Well,
yeah, Vader,
it is what it is.
I hope we do see some. I hope we do see some Vaders take some round robins. Vader triple deuce seems good.
I would imagine by the time, because folks can switch up their lists, I think that we'll definitely see some in the single limbs. So probably on the outside looking in on that, but that's fine. I'll tune in to some streams. So. All right, Joe, I'm gonna end off there. I got a girl up there. I can hear her calling for dad already, so I better do the parent thing here this evening and rest of the evening, I should say. But good hanging out with you as we do every week, and all you folks in chat for sure. So, we'll look forward, and we're all eagerly anticipating the AMG's next moves. Balls in their court for sure, and don't sell your models, folks. Hang on to them. It's gonna be fun, I'm sure. So
even if you got to shelf them for a few months, don't sell them.
Bumps in the road, we can be grumpy, but the game will still exist. If we just hit pause right now, somebody said it earlier, if the game just paused right now, I could still enjoy this game for a long period of time with what I have. So that's a good outlook to have. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, till Friday, I guess, folks. Have a good evening.
All right.
We'll see you later.
See you guys.
Cheers.